welcome to another episode of the Tapestry podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Froswá Drew, and thank you, ISP Creative, for making this happen. Today, I have an amazing guest that I want to introduce you to that I have known for decades before we both had all this white hair. I want to say thank you, Rose, for coming on the show. And let me introduce my dear friend that I've known a long time. Rose Jones has over 40 years of social work experience. She is committed to the preservation of families and began her career in adoption as a house parent for emotionally disturbed and at-risk teenage girls while attending college at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. After graduating with her Bachelor of Arts in social work, Rose earned a master's degree in social work from UT Arlington. Shortly thereafter, she became employed with the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, where she provided adoption and foster care services for 7 years. And although Rose enjoyed her position there, she had a deeper desire to accomplish more in adoption. God put it in her heart to establish an agency that is specialized in placing hard-to-place children, particularly African American children, school-age children, and sibling groups. This desire led her to establish the Children and Family Institute in 1993, and since its founding, CFI has assisted in placing thousands of children in forever homes. In 2008, they expanded their programs to include more services to mothers and fathers. Rose believes that every child deserves a stable, loving, and supportive family. She is dedicated to the belief that God has a special purpose for every child. And recently, she started a new nonprofit, Pathways to Restoration and Purpose, as she believes there is a tremendous need for people to discover and live their purpose. And she is finishing her first book, which she will release soon. So, Rose, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Froswá. Thank you.
Well, I want to talk about, because when we met, you were, the organization had already started. It has blown up. You're in the multiple locations, but talk about why you started Children and Family Institute. What was the reason behind creating an agency to do this work?
Well, honestly, frustration, because the children of color, and particularly African American children, waited in foster homes longer than any other race of children. And I would see African American families come through, and sometimes they would be screened out instead of screened in. Now, there are guidelines, but then there were little small things that were irrelevant. They just, it was very difficult for me to watch good families not have children in their homes. So, with my ex-husband's support, I would complain. I complained probably about 2 years about leaving and starting an agency and using my own ideas. And I did. And God gave me that strength to do that without a whole lot of money, but a whole lot of desire to do it. So it was really about a service gap, filling a service gap. That's what made me want to do it, solve a problem.
And you have, talk about the programs and the work that you do, because you do a lot from teen moms to placing children in families and keeping families together. Talk about the array of services that you all provide.
Well, first of all, we started out placing children in adoption, a child placing agency. Then about 10 years into the program, we started Pathways to Parenting, because moms would come to us considering an adoption plan, not giving their baby away, but an adoption plan. And 95% of them, especially women of color and African American, would change their minds. So you're in the hospital, you need a car seat, and you need milk, you need all these resources in order to take your baby home. And for about a year, we kept encountering that crisis and that problem. So I got volunteers, intern students, and started a program without any money. It was just, we've got to fix this because these moms are changing their minds. We may as well start out with a plan. Just supposing you may not consider placement, let's look at parenting. And so that's how Pathways to Parenting came about. We support moms who want to parent their children. And a very, very important part of that program is helping families to keep their children in their home to prevent child abuse. And if you've gotten in trouble with the state, you can come to us for parenting classes to help you carry out that service plan so you can get your child back. Of course, if you're meeting the guidelines, you just can't get them back if you're not really getting your act together. So that's how Pathways to Parenting was created, and it was just, see if I just keep evolving. So that program came about. Then, after you're working with all these moms that are parenting and we're trying to prevent child abuse and keep the children in the home, we found, okay, we need the fathers involved. So about 8 years ago, we started a program. It's called Fatherhood Institute, where we've got males that are interacting, supporting fathers, and talking about those things that we as women, honestly, that's another frustration. I would be trying to talk to these men about parenting and different issues, and someone would roll their eyes in their heads, and I said, "You're not listening." I said to myself, "You're not listening." I'm going to find a male that you can relate to, and we can address these problems. Mm-hmm. So that's what we did, and now we have 2 males, 2 strong men.
Oh, that's awesome.
2 strong men that are helping men to be men, and even though they may not have relationships with the moms, they are still part of that child's life.
Good.
And within this program as well, what's evolving out of that program is you've got a lot of fathers and moms who are wanting to become entrepreneurs.
Oh, wow.
Did you just hear what I said?
If
you cannot find a job, make a job. There's no excuse.
Yes.
Because if God has given you a talent and you can provide a service, good quality service, we're going to help you bring that into reality. And it's work. But I'm excited about that. So you asked, and okay, I'll let you ask the next question because I'm ready to go.
Tell me about it.
All right, and the next thing we're looking at, we're expanding to Texarkana.
Wow.
We're starting a program, and the families there, they're excited about us coming. And of course, Arkansas is my home state, and I'm excited about that. So I'm excited about the things we're going to do.
I love the growth, because I remember when you were just in Dallas, you still had the office on Hampton, but the fact you're in Fort Worth and that you're doing Texarkana, and just seeing the reach that you have is amazing.
Right. Now, the Fort Worth office only provide that parenting support services. Dallas office provide adoption services in that parenting support services. We're not licensed over there to provide that. However, in a couple of years, we're going to do that. It just depends.
I know it's coming. Talk about the kinship adoption, because I know that's something that is becoming more prevalent. Whereas in our community, people have been doing it for years. And, I talk about how my parents took in my cousin and raised him. And I don't think people recognize that that is an option in adoption, that it's not always placing babies, with someone that is a surrogate or you don't know, but you can place your baby. Talk about kinship adoption.
Yeah, our kinship adoptions, we do about 75% of our adoptions now are kinship adoptions.
Wow.
That is, I love kinship adoption because that child continues to have connections with his family, as long as it's an appropriate family, So kinship allows that child, like I said, to continue that connection and have that normalcy that he's used to. And it cuts back on our tax dollars as well. That child does not experience as much trauma going from one place to another. Now, that trauma is one of the main reasons that I wanted to start an agency, to decrease that movement. It's not fun to move around for a child. It's not healthy for them. So if we can get the families involved in there, that decreases the trauma and the movement and that cohesiveness. And this child can grow up and be a healthy human being. Not that the foster care system isn't good for them. And in some cases, it really isn't, but we're not going to talk about that. But if he can stay connected to his family and have that support, because after you graduate, after you're 18 and you graduate out of the system, you still will have those family connections, because you got to make decisions in your life and you need someone to help you be an adult.
Right. And I've seen young people who have not had that level of support and end up getting in trouble because they don't have the family relationships to go back to.
Right.
So I love the fact that you're providing that kind of continuity for children to have connection to their family.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I know about you, that you do this work because of purpose, and that you help other people find purpose, but all of that is rooted in your faith. How is that a lens for you, and why has that been so important and a thread in everything that you do? I know the answer, but I want other people to
I was amazed reading the bio. Then how did she know about me working in a youth home? How did she find that out? But that's actually how I decided to become a social worker, because
Really?
I volunteered at a youth home to work with girls.
And that was the beginning.
And that was the beginning.
That was the beginning of purpose for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you see God's hand all throughout this.
Absolutely. His hands are certainly in it. And when you say purpose, my faith is important to me, of course, you know that. But I believe that each one of us are born with a destiny where God wants us to end up.
I agree.
And it's an assignment on our lives, and only that person can do it. And it doesn't matter how big or small it is significant to the kingdom of God.
Yes.
What you do, because he's in that big master plan, you have a little piece over there, and you need to take it serious. Because once you own that and discover what your purpose is, no one can tell you who you are and what you're supposed to do. Because you become so focused on seeing what God has shown you that no one can tell you no, or you can't do it. Many times people told me no. And there was a couple of times I sit up in the office and asked God, okay, are you sure? Because the money was very, very tight. But some kind of way, he will make it work for you.
Yes, he does.
And that's a part of the process. You can't give up because you encounter a challenge.
Yes.
So, but yes, I believe in us discovering what our purpose is, because you're not all over the place and you don't believe anything either.
So how do you find purpose? How would you tell somebody to do that?
Well, to me, I have to always include God in it, because he's our creator.
Exactly.
According to me and my faith, he's our creator. And God created us to create, okay?
Yes.
So you have a part in something in the world to do. So one of the ways I believe that God show us our purpose, I believe even at a young age, he shows us a little glimpse of what we are supposed to do. You become good and interested in things. It's just so normal for you. Like a teacher, you got a little classmate out there and you're teaching people,
Yes.
Absolutely. And people who want to own a business, you may go collect things and you want to sell and make a profit, and that. But purpose is found, I believe, with that desire to solve a problem that really just make you angry. Remember I told you I'm frustrated?
Yeah.
Those things that frustrate you, sometimes that is what you're supposed to fix in society.
That's good.
You really,
Yes.
you pay attention to it. Not that you can fix everything, but pay attention to it. And I believe in praying and asking God for clarity. Because people will tell you can't do something, but if he show you what you can do, you'll continue to see it no matter what anybody else tell you.
That's
That vision will come to you when you can't see yourself beyond the next moment.
Yeah.
He will show you, and you'll keep focused and you'll keep going. But I believe that's how you discover your purpose. It continues to come back to you.
It does.
You can't get away from it.
That's what I was about to say. You cannot get away from it. It just
oozes out of you.
Yes.
Like connection just oozes out of you.
I can't
help yourself. Yeah.
And when I try to stop, I'm like, I need to introduce these people. Do y'all know each other?
Absolutely.
I can't stop. But it is through the work. And I think people don't realize it's not something that just plops down. You find it and fine-tune it by doing work. And some of the tasks that you think are so minuscule that you think are so insignificant are really the ones that are teaching you the character and the integrity to be able to do whatever the great thing is that God has for you to do.
Absolutely.
And it may not be being on a stage somewhere, but you may impact somebody's life in such a way that changes their whole trajectory. That's important.
Right.
And so I don't think people recognize it's just showing up and doing the work.
Absolutely. Now, what you just said, showing up.
Yeah.
You have to decide, I'm going to do it even if you don't have any money. If you just do a
That's it.
little bit. And volunteering. What has happened to people volunteering just a little bit?
Yes.
Do you know you can become educated volunteering? You can learn so much.
It's true. It's true.
That's how I just happened to, I mean, when they told me they would pay me for doing what I was doing, I quit my job at Sears immediately. I could get actually paid for helping these little girls. And then I decided later, my supervisor had a master's, and I actually told him I wanted his job. He said, we have to go to school, because I was in college then. Mm-hmm. And he laughed at me, and I said, I'm serious. I want your job. Because, see, I would give him ideas on how to implement things, mm-hmm. and he used them. And I said, I could do this. And so, but yeah, want somebody else's job and work under them and learn how to do what they do.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
Absolutely.
So you're getting ready to do this major event that I'm honored to serve as chair of.
And I'm so grateful and thankful. You didn't have to do that, but you did. And I thank you so much from my heart.
We are trying. I'm like, oh my God, I wish there was even more I can do. But I want people to know about this event. So tell us a little bit about, when is it? We're celebrating 30 years. Mm-hmm. Who's going to be there? Where will it be? Mm-hmm. Give us some insight on this event, because I want folks to buy tickets.
Absolutely. And I'm excited about it, and everybody said, well, you're not excited about it. Then when you start thinking about how many years it's been, I'm going like, okay, I can get excited. So it's going to be November the 30th at the Hertz Convention Center. And of course, you're honorary chair. And what's her name? Cynthia Ezagara is going to be honored. And, she has worked with Wednesday's Child. What is it? WFAA. Yes, for years. And I'm so excited to meet her and talk to her, because she's made it possible for a lot of children to find homes. Yes. I have placed some children when I worked for the state. Because of Wednesday's Child. It's a real asset to the adoption arena. So yes, we want people to come, and we're going to have a good time. And I've decided I'm excited. I'm going to have a good time, because I'm going like, what do I have to do all this for? But I'm excited and to acknowledge other people, and also thank people who have helped me to do this. It takes people. It takes volunteer. It takes staff. It takes board members. Yeah. It takes a lot of people, and I want to say thank you to them, and then see some of the children that we have placed in adoption, and some of the pathways to parenting not clients, but some of the parents that are going to come, and you can hear some about some of their stories, and just be inspired to do what God called you to do. Yes. Because He's calling us all to do something for His kingdom.
All of us. And I hope people will listen.
Absolutely.
And heed the call.
Absolutely.
So 10 years from now, what's next?
Oh, okay. 10 years from now, I will be. I'm not gonna tell. I will be. I supposed to be. I actually was supposed to be looking at retiring 5 years ago, but I said
you're not gonna ever retire.
No, I'm not. But I'm going to. I've decreased my hours, and I'm kind of. I don't like to use the word retired, because I love what I do, and it's not work. So I don't work as much. And I'm sure in 10 years, actually in the next probably 3 to 5 years, I will not have anything probably do with the day-to-day activities of Children and Family Institute, because I'm training right now someone to take over. I don't want to be walking with a little cane trying to tell people what to do. I want to walk out of there and people not have to push me out. I want to train the next generation, and I'm loving the ideas. I'll be honest with you, 5 years ago I had to work at that transition, but God has made it so I'm excited about it now, because He's given me pathways to restoration and purpose now. And I don't know what He's going to do with that, but I'm excited about it. So I'm just going to be still doing what the Lord tell me to do, and also always encourage. See, that's something I can't help. I'm sitting on a plane. I want to know what it is that you do. What's your purpose? I want to know. Let's find it. Let's find out what it is, because you are significant and you bring value. And when people do that, their whole life changes.
Yes.
And I see that in our clients. And that's what Pathways to Restoration came out of, Pathways to Parenting, because I saw a lot of families, parents who didn't know who they are, why they're here.
That's hard, because then you're just floating through life.
Yes, and you'll do anything, you'll take anything, and you'll settle. You don't have to settle.
God has so much greater for all of us.
Yes. So when some of our clients decide, okay, they've been encouraged to, first of all, get a high school diploma. Do you hear me? How that has changed so many of our clients. For the last, I would say, couple of years here, we've been providing scholarships so that parents can get a high school diploma. And that changes their life. They can get jobs where they can have income to take care of their families. And some of them come back and they're crying. I can take care of my family now, just simply because of a high school diploma. And then, of course, you've got those who thinking, okay, I'm an aide and I kind of want to be a nurse. No, let's go in and get a reality to this. And we're going to gradually take you to being an aide, and then an RN, and then you can be a nurse. Hey, you can be a doctor on the hospital.
Yes.
Go for it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love how you have no limits because of your faith in God.
Well, sometimes I limit him, but I have to get up off of it and do, even when you're afraid. And he's right there with you. You become somebody else. Because I just love being in the background. But when it's time, he said, do it. Hey.
But look at what you've accomplished because of him.
Yes.
I think the thing that you have taught me so much is that there is no obstacle, because your faith has been such a shield that even when the obstacles come, I've seen you just go around them, climb over them. Even when you may be concerned, it doesn't take away your humanness.
Yeah.
I've seen you concerned and going, I don't know how this is going to work. But what you've taught me in watching you all these years is that you've never given up on you. And more importantly, you've never given up on God. And the way you even center your clients, you don't give up on the people that you work with.
Right.
And I think that's so much because of your faith, and that you're able to see people beyond how they see themselves.
Yes.
I think God is giving you this amazing gift to be able to look at people beyond where they are and see the ultimate possibility for them.
Right. Absolutely. And what you said about me not giving up, and I want to make sure people understand, I am human, and there have been times when I have had crises. I almost fell to my knees. Have you ever came up against something and you almost fall to your knees? You feel weak?
Yes.
But when God picked you up and give you strength to keep going, it just does something to your faith and your trust in him. And it helps you to keep going. So it's a moment by moment thing, and you have to let him do it. You can't do it. We can't do it ourselves, and we have to open our mouth and ask.
Yeah, you do. And a lot of people will not ask for help. And
I've been one of them.
But what I love about you is I've watched you over the years where you have become a person who like what you're talking about, the succession planning. I love how you're bringing younger people along because you're not going to allow the legacy to die.
No.
That you see such value in this work that it's like, I got to make sure that this continues well beyond me because it's bigger than me.
It's bigger.
Because you see it as God's work. It's not yours. That's
right. It's bigger than me. It's not mine. It's whoever God say it is. He just used me to start it. Someone else will continue and continue. And like I said, the young people, they got great ideas, and I'm learning from them. We learn from each other. And it's a pleasure to see something just keep going. And working hard all these years, I am happy to let somebody else do it.
But to be in business for 30 years doing this work is a testament to you.
Yeah.
Because, Rose, we both know of organizations who have not been around 30 years and are still thriving. So it's a testament to you and your commitment, to you allowing other people to come in and you sowing into them, and then you being legacy minded, that you really are seeing this as, this is more than me having an agency. This is really about kingdom building for God's people. And the fact that you've been able to keep that as your focal point is why I believe it's not going to be unusual to see another 30-year celebration, whether we're here or not to see it.
Absolutely.
But I just believe that God will continue the work because of the seeds that you've sown, not only in this organization, but in the people's lives that work for you and with you. And so I want folks to know, one, how can they get in contact? What's the website? And then tell them again about the date of the event, because we need people to buy tickets and hang out with us.
Yes. The event is going to be November the 30th, and the website is www.cfiservices.org. Again, C as in Frank, cfiservices.org. Yes, please come check us out, please.
And if you have the time to just visit what she's doing, volunteer.
Yes, that would be nice.
They could use help because you are just growing, and I'm so proud of you. And so thank you, Rose, for allowing me to play a little bitty role in the amazing work after all these years.
You've encouraged me many times.
And we'll continue because you're doing amazing work. Yes. So I thank God for you and the impact that you're having on so many people's lives, including mine. So thank you, Rose.
You are welcome.
And so, y'all, this is another episode of the Tapestry Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Froswá Booker Drew. And if you want to check out more episodes like this, tune in to our YouTube channel. Thanks a lot.